Hello everyone, this is Tenickia Polk and I am here to give you 15 Christ fashions to help you overcome fear and stress and anxiety. Now, fear and stress uh, and anxiety are sort of the same things, and we'll talk about that a little later, but these are just 15 things that you can confess with your mouth, which is why I call them Christ fashions, to help in overcoming fear, stress, and anxiety. Okay, the reason I am doing this is because I'm in the process of finishing my second book, my first second Jesus Juice book, which is all about overcoming fear and stress and just having joy and peace in your life. And this has taken me about 2 years to write, which is not typical of me. And so I'm coming against a lot of spiritual warfare and just other things that are popping up. And so I wanted to get something out just to be an encouragement to anyone who this may help. Okay, so let's just get started. The first one is fear and stress is not the will of God. Again, this is something that we can confess with our mouths whenever there's a need. Number one is fear and stress is not the will of God. And it's based on 2 Timothy 1:7, which says, "For God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and a sound mind." And so I think this is a really good place to start because some people have just come to accept fear and stress as part of our lives, and there is some pressure in our lives, but I wouldn't call it fear and stress that we should have in our lives. And so this scripture is telling us that we as believers, one of the things that we do while we're in this world is to tear down the works of the enemy, and fear, anxiety is a part of those works. So number one, again, is fear and stress is not the will of God. Okay? All right, number two, God will reveal the unknown. And this is based on the scripture Matthew 10:26, which reads, "Fear them not therefore, for there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, and hid that shall not be known." And this is important because I think a lot of the times we get in a frenzy because of the unknown, whether it may be unknown circumstances or situations we may find ourselves into, and that kind of leads down to some terrible, awful paths. Even in the Bible, with Saul going to the witch of Pandora, and because he was afraid of the future. And so God is saying here that we are not to fear the unknown because he will reveal it in his time. Okay, so number two is God will reveal the unknown. So we just need to rest and trust that God will reveal the unknown. Okay, number three is my soul is more important than my body, and only God determines the destiny of my soul. And this is based on Matthew 10:28, which reads, "And fear them not which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell." Now, this is very important. If you read Jesus Juice, the first volume, or there's a lot of other teachings about this, but the body is, well, our beings, human beings, have three parts, which is the spirit, the soul, and the body. And a lot of times we get into fear or anxiety because we're trying to protect the body. And what this scripture is saying is that we should not focus on protecting the body, because the body is not the most important part of our makeup. And as a matter of fact, the soul is more important. And what the scripture is saying is that only God has the right to determine the final destination of our soul, whether it be heaven or hell. And so we shouldn't get too wrapped up in protecting our body. I'm not saying, of course, that we should intentionally put ourselves in harm's way or neglect taking care of our bodies, because that wouldn't be scriptural either. But what I'm saying is that there is a deeper part of us that is more important. We won't take these bodies with us to heaven. God will give us glorified bodies when He returns. And so the third Christ fashion for today is: my soul is more important than my body, and only God determines the destiny of my soul. All right, I hope that was helpful. God bless.